As you might recall from earlier sessions, the component is found in one place on any given page, usually in the middle. Modules are placed around the edges of that component to form out the rest of the page. As you can see from this screen, anything in green is a module position. Module positions on your site can be found by adding $TP=1 to the front page of your site, as you can see on the sample page from our default Joomla installation. The Module Manager does pretty much what it says. It allows us to manage the modules on our website. Let me take a moment to go over the basics of this screen. Like every Joomla screen, you can filter results, find a module really quickly. I can select the position, the type, and the state. So if I want to see all the modules in the right position, just select right from the drop-down and it will filter those results. If I want to select all the modules by type, for instance the Newsflash module, I can select by type and it will filter those results. By now that's something you should probably be pretty familiar with. Modules come in a number of different flavors, and out of the box, assuming we install the sample data, Joomla gives us several: breadcrumbs, polls, login, Newsflash, latest news, and main menu. Adding a module is really simple. Copying a module is really simple. And downloading new modules, as we've already seen, again, is pretty simple. So let's take a quick peek at some of the modules. Module settings. We're going to start with breadcrumbs. And breadcrumbs is the area on our site that shows us how deep we are. Usually it's divided by some kind of image, but breadcrumbs allow us to trace our way through the website and back up to certain levels, depending how deep we go. So if I click on the news, for instance, it takes me back to that blog layout. Alright, so we have a name. Sometimes we show the title, sometimes we don't. Usually on a module position that's not in the left or right column, I usually don't show the title. The position here is breadcrumb. Let me say something about positions in Joomla. We're going to talk a lot about this once we get to templates. But a template defines where the module is placed on the page, which we just looked at. So again, if I go back over to my home page and type in $TP=1, then I can see that breadcrumbs is here in my template. So I know that if I put breadcrumb here in my template, that's where it'll appear. All of the positions that are defined by your template are in this drop-down menu. To create a new template position is really simple. I just double-click, erase what's there, and put in a new one. You can't have spaces in these names, but you can have an underscore. Now the problem with this is that this a new position isn't found in my template. So unless I call it using the load position command or edit my template to put this position in, this will never show up on my website. In this particular module, there are some parameters, and each module will have its own. Do I want to show the home? What's the text for the home entry? Do I want to show the last thing in the line of the breadcrumbs? What's the separator if there's a text separator? Otherwise the template will take care of it. Under advanced parameters, is the caching turned on or not? And again, these parameters will change depending on your module. The last thing to look at is on what pages does this module appear? And we do that by menu assignment. This particular module is on every single page, which makes sense, it's the breadcrumb. But let's say I didn't want breadcrumbs on any page except home. Of course that wouldn't make sense, but bear with me for just a moment. If I click on just the home and I click apply, and I come back over to my front page, let's get rid of the TP=1, and now breadcrumbs is on my home page. But if I go to the news, breadcrumbs disappears. So coming back over here, if I click on home and on a Windows machine, control on a Mac command, press home and the news and click apply, then that module will appear on the news as well, but not on romantic comedy because it's a separate menu item. So this creates some incredible flexibility in what content can go on our page. The great thing is that modules can be copied. You can have as many copies of a module as you want. So let me give you an illustration. Let's say this banners module has different settings, and I want to have different settings on it. Let's say I have multiple clients, and I want Open Source Matters client to appear on these pages, and I click Save. I can come in here, copy this banner module. Now I have a copy of banners. Choose my different client and change what pages it appears on. Enable it, and now I have banners on one set of pages and a different set of banners on another set of pages. Modules can be copied as many times as you want. It's key to note, plugins cannot. They function very differently. So down below on the lesson notes, you've got a couple of exercises to do. We're going to ask you to just go ahead and move a couple of modules around. Go ahead and do those and then go on to the next session.